The Cleveland Browns are the hot team heading into the 2019 NFL season. Everybody wants to know, what are we going to see from the Cleveland Browns in 2019? Is it all hype, or are the Cleveland Browns actually a legitimate contender, actually a legitimate playoff team? And could they possibly win the AFC North? They finished 5-2 down the stretch of the 2018 season, and they had an excellent offseason. I'm here to tell you why that excellent offseason is going to actually transfer into an excellent season for Cleveland and the Browns going into 2019. Gronk, spike the like button, subscribe to the Bottom Line View if you haven't already. This is my reasoning for why the Cleveland Browns are going to be a legit contender in the AFC and are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL in 2019. Let's start off with reason number one. Reason number one is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, since being drafted first overall by the Cleveland Browns, has set the tone for the franchise. He's brought leadership, he's brought passion, and he's brought hope. He is like the Cleveland Browns superhero for not only 2019, but going into the future. He is the quarterback, he is the player, he is the face of the franchise that Cleveland Browns fans have been waiting for not only years, but decades. This guy is the Cleveland Browns and everything that a Cleveland Browns fan has been hoping for. He had the most passing touchdowns by a rookie in a season ever. 27 touchdowns in 2018, surpassing some great players from the past. His touch is incredible for a young quarterback. Phenomenal accuracy. He has really overlooked arm strength, and he can make the big plays down the field, whether that's a deep bomb this season to Odell Beckham Jr., a little soft touch pass over the middle. He knows how to angle his arm the correct way to get the ball through the hole, down the middle of the field, split the safeties, whatever it may be. Baker Mayfield is already one of the more impressive pure passers of the football in the NFL. And in many ways, you've probably seen the video on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever. He reminds me of a miniature, little, younger Brett Favre. He has so many qualities that resemble Brett Favre, not only as a player, but also as a leader and as a person. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Baker Mayfield can do in his second season. I love his personality. I love what he shows, not only on the field with his passion, but off the field by setting the tone for a franchise that has desperately needed a player just like him. 6-7 last season as a starter. I think that's going to increase. I would be shocked if this guy does not leave the Cleveland Browns to at least a winning record in 2019. I'm excited for Baker Mayfield, but he's not the only reason why the Cleveland Browns are going to be legit in 2019. Reason number two is coaching. The Cleveland Browns, one of the biggest reasons they have been one of the worst franchises in sports, not only football, but in sports, is because their coaching has been horrendous for seasons. They've really not had a quality coach since Bill Belichick. I am hoping that Freddie Kitchens turns this around as a head coach. Because whatever you may say about Freddie Kitchens, even though he's not proven as a head coach, you can't get any worse than Hue Jackson. Hue Jackson, for my money, was the worst head coach, maybe in the history of sports, but certainly in the history of football. So you strip that guy away from this team, we already saw the impact that Freddie had on the offense in 2018, and hopefully he can have a similar impact on the entire team going into the 2019 season. They're putting the trust in him. Hopefully, he has the balls to be able to deal with all these characters and personalities on the Cleveland roster. But not only that, but pushing this team to being a legitimate contender in 2019, this very season. Now, it goes past Freddie Kitchens because I think Freddie Kitchens will bring along with him a creative offense. He's going to set a new tone for the franchise moving forward. The Cleveland Browns' new offensive coordinator is Todd Monken, formerly the head coach of Southern Miss from 2013 to 2015. He then made his way to the NFL and was one of the more overlooked offensive coordinators of the past few seasons. He was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I would give a lot of credit to Cutter in that scenario in Tampa Bay, but I do believe that Todd had some impact on that offense, had some impact on them being one of the most explosive downfield passing attacks in the NFL for the past 3 seasons, and I believe he's at least going to bring some of that play calling, some of that flair to this offense with Baker Mayfield. That suits what Baker Mayfield loves to do. He loves to throw the ball deep. He also is going to suit Odell Beckham Jr., and I just think they're going to get the absolute best. The combination between Kitchens and Monken, I think, is going to be great just in terms of their creativity, the new game plans from week to week, adding some of the little bit of passing game flair along with some play action, some running game, and some special trick plays that Kitchens ran a lot of last season. I think it's going to be very interesting and intriguing to see how that goes with the talent they have on the football field. Defensively, this is one of the more overlooked hirings of the offseason, with Steve Wilks being hired as the defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, Steve Wilks saw this as a scenario where he could come in as a former head coach of the Cardinals. Just didn't work out. I don't think he's really suited to be a head coach. He doesn't really have the personality. It seemed like it was above his head overall. But as the Panthers defensive coordinator, he did a really great job. He has a lot of expertise in the secondary, where he was a coach for the Chargers in their secondary, for the Panthers in their secondary, and of course a defensive coordinator in the past. He's traditionally more of a 4-3 scheme type of defensive coach. I think that suits the personnel of what Cleveland has on their football team. And I think he's just going to bring a guy that has experience as a head coach, can help out Freddie Kitchens, and Freddie Kitchens can know that he can focus on the offense without having to really deal with the defense, because he knows he has a former head coach in Steve Wilks who's going to be able to just do the defense by himself. And it's going to be sort of that McVay-Wade Phillips relationship that I think has worked really well with the Rams, which I think a lot of teams are taking that model and, like the Browns, utilizing it to their advantage. So the coaching is a huge reason, don't overlook it, why the Browns can be legit this season. At number 3, they have too many weapons not to be good. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins, Antonio Callaway, Njoku, Demetrius Harris, Chubb, Hunt. They have so many different weapons, so many different skill sets on this offense. Not only do they have Baker at quarterback and a very creative offensive coordinator and scheme with Freddie, but they do have the weapons to execute it. And adding Odell Beckham Jr., you cannot overstate the impact he is going to have on the rest of the offensive weapons on the Browns and on defenses that are playing against the Cleveland Browns. Now you're not going to be able to double team Jarvis Landry underneath, because you're going to have to look for Odell to take it over the top of a defense, and you're often going to see double coverage on Odell Beckham Jr., which is going to open up all the other weapons, all the other speed and athleticism that they have. Looking at Njoku, who's going to be dangerous as that third-year player. Demetrius Harris is not a bad second tight end to add if they want to run some 2 tight end sets. Decent blocker, pretty good hands, always been an underrated athlete for Kansas City. Rashard Higgins and Antonio Callaway both have speed and the ability to take it over the top of a defense, as well as make plays after the catch. I'm very interested to see how Antonio Callaway kind of operates within this offense as that third receiver, because obviously Jarvis Landry is going to be in the slot. You're going to have Odell moving kind of everywhere, but mostly as an outside receiver. And then Higgins and Callaway are going to take their turn on the opposite side. So if one of those guys can really prove to be something better than they have been in the past, then this offense is going to be extremely dangerous. And they have athletes everywhere, which is extremely, extremely dangerous, because, I mean, not only do they have really good route runners, really good quickness, but that speed is just going to be so hard to handle for a lot of defenses in the NFL. And then the running game with Chubb, who I think is phenomenal. I mean, this guy has burst. Once he hits that second level, he's gone. I mean, he has burst, underrated burst. He has power as well. He's not a great pass catcher, but Kareem Hunt, from whatever he's done off the field, he's an extremely talented running back, and whenever they get him in the lineup, he's going to add an element to this offense in terms of his pass catching element that I think is going to be very dangerous, along with his ability to break tackles, his ability to shed defenders in the open field, and that combination is going to be able to win games on the ground when you need to in difficult weather in December and in playoff games potentially. At number 4, the pass rush and the defensive playmakers in general. The Cleveland Browns have now a formula that a lot of other teams are using, like the Seahawks used a couple years ago, the Philadelphia Eagles have used to win Super Bowls, the Denver Broncos used to win a Super Bowl. Pass rush and having a front four that can just get after it without having to send extra people and spending more people into coverage with Steve Wilks, who's a heavy zone coordinator, I think is very, very intriguing to see how this defense is going to improve in 2019, because if they have that dominant pass rush with Myles Garrett on the edge, Olivier Vernon complementing Garrett, who I believe Myles Garrett can be the best pass rusher in football one of these seasons. Then you have Olivier Vernon, who's an all-around great edge defender and has been a really productive pass rusher in his past. Sheldon Richardson has a ton of potential that's kind of been not exactly been able to come out these past couple of years, but he still has something left in the tank, I do believe. Ogunjobi is compelling to me. I don't know exactly how great he can be within this defense, but he does have a lot of talent and pure athletic ability that has yet to come out as well. This front four has the potential to be one of the best in the NFL immediately in 2019, and by making some of these moves like trading for Olivier Vernon, Cleveland Browns have set themselves up for an offense that's going to be able to score a lot of points through the air, and then once they're leading teams in that third and fourth quarter, they're able to get after the quarterback, get pressure, create sacks, create turnovers, and win games. Outside of the defensive line, the Cleveland Browns have other defensive studs. I think that Kirksey and Schobert are one of the more underrated linebacker duos in the NFL and complement each other very well. Ward and Williams could be one of the best young duos at the corner position. I think Greedy Williams, that was a steal of a pick. I was jealous of Cleveland fans when they got him in the second round, and he fell as far as he did because he's a pure cover corner. Denzel Ward, he already proved in his rookie season he can be one of the elite corners in football. So if Williams can catch up to him and have a similar rookie season to Ward, this is all of a sudden one of the best corner duos in football. I'm not looking for the Browns defense to be top 10 or elite in the NFL, although they possibly could be. But I'm expecting the Browns defense to be a good complement to what they already have on offense, which is one of the most explosive offenses in football. And at number 5, I know there's going to be trolls out there in the comment section saying this isn't a true reason why the Browns can be good, but the city, the momentum, and the support. I know that's not really a football reason, but when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, they have fantastic football fans. This is a football city. It always has been. It always will be. They have a great fan base, and sometimes that hype from the offseason can steamroll into a season starting in week number 1, and it can help them play at home especially, and can just help create this momentum for a football team in terms of confidence boost, in terms of chemistry, in terms of effort, and just the players knowing. There's something different about being an athlete, knowing that you have the support backing you. And that is a special reason that I think a lot of people are overlooking going into the 2019 NFL season. But the Cleveland Browns, I truly do believe, can be a legit contender in the AFC in 2019. If you agree, comment below your opinion. And if you disagree, also comment your opinion. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think I'm onto something? Gronk, spike the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's Mitch of TheBottomLineView. Peace out.